Soundtrack for money. Alright, you're live. Alright, very cool. I think the board was working on introducing me, so if anyone jumped in early, I do apologize. Just getting everything set up. My roommate's helping me out with everything. Alright, we're just going to be working out some of the kinks, and I also just want to see how everyone's seeing and visualizing everything, so I might experiment with this board a little bit and stuff. Alright, but yeah, welcome from ISCA, guys. International Society of Caricature Artists. We're doing what we can to bring you guys all together. I mean, this is a big deal to us. We're really happy to be doing it, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. Here, let me bring up my camera so you guys can see what I'm up to. If I remember how to use my own devices. All right. So guys, I've been pretty busy myself. Just in the last couple of weeks, I've been moving from Denver, Colorado to beautiful sunny Aurora, Colorado, and it's a gorgeous day. I don't know if you can see out my window, but we got like a little bench and everything. And I'm actually just working on getting my studio set up. I have a shared workspace with my friend Jason. He and Kenzie just bought this beautiful house, and I'm the artist that gets to crash here. Just showing you guys around a little bit. This is my beautiful art desk. I'm still very much so living out of bins, and just have art and junk laying all around. See here, I got a lizard that probably will not emerge. I got a giant pop collection over here of all of your favorite Star Wars characters that are not mine. And I just want to show you guys one of my favorite things in my house. Is everyone seeing everything all right, or is this, I'm not seeing it on the screen, but I might have my guy jump in here and tell me what's going on. But right now I'm trying to show you guys my art desk. Yeah, just a second. Let me make sure everything's going all right. I'm gonna see if I can see you guys' comments on the ISCA page. I'm running with a new program right now, so this is all kind of new to me. Oh, very cool. All right. Hey, thanks, Chris. But yeah, this is a lot of the stuff that inspires me. I like to encourage other artists to reach out and find material that they can really relate to. So I have a lot of collections from Spectrum. If you guys don't know, it's a annual magazine that collects art from the best illustrators in the world. A lot of people that work for Wizards of the Coast and everything send stuff in, and it's juried every year, and it's just a very affordable magazine. It's $35 for hundreds of images of some of the best artwork you've ever seen. But yeah, load up your bookshelves, guys. It's going to be a long one. Chris Grimley, wonderful, wonderful stuff. And when I'm on the road, I get this a lot. People just assume that we know what we're doing. They assume that we have these magic powers. And one of the things that I really like to show people. So these are some of my recent sketchbooks. This is just piles and piles of drawings and failures and all kinds of, it's work, guys. And a lot of you guys know this, but I like to show people what kind of work we as artists are doing. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on back to Procreate. That's what I'm going to be using to show you guys. I think it's kind of free form, but we're just going to do some fun doodling and tell you guys what I've been up to. So So as many of you have been, I've had a lot of time to sit around. Not much to do in my field. Like, often I'm going out in public and drawing. Unfortunately, out here in Denver, we've been hit pretty hard, but everyone's doing a really great job doing the social distancing thing. A lot of people are staying home and trying to out in the small help out that they can, ways that they can. I've been sitting and thinking a lot. I've been spending time with my girlfriend. I hope this image isn't too racy, but I have been working out, as you can tell. Let's see here. In any way, what else have I been doing? Since I moved in, I started a little mural in my room. Not sure if all of you guys enjoy the dark, macabre imagery like I do, but it used to look like this. And as excited as I was to move into a room that had a pretty well executed Cars illustration from 2008, I decided that maybe I would update a little bit. So let's see here. If you guys want to reach out and check out my stuff, a lot of you know me, but I'm Ben Bloss. I'm usually on Instagram. Instagram handle benbloss13. I do also have a website, benbloss.art, and on there I will be taking requests and commissions, and we'll see what we can do from there. I mean, I have a lot of time on my hands right now. I probably won't be getting out and working significantly until May. So yeah, if you like, hit me up. There are a lot of artists out there, guys, that could use your help, and this might be a great opportunity to get a commission from someone that you've always wanted a drawing from. So keep your eyes open for any GoFundMes. We at ISCA, we do what we can as a nonprofit to be able to promote the artists that we can, but we really want to be fair to the community. So we're going to be reaching out, and we have a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, specifically on how we can help you guys in need. So we're going to be reaching out and doing what we can in that area, and I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I really appreciate having a community like this, and I know that I don't pop up on the boards all that often. I'm not commenting as much as I could or should, and maybe I will now. But we keep an eye on you guys. we're interested in all of your concerns, and also like your relation, like what makes you happy, like anything that you're doing in the field of art that you enjoy, we're really happy about. Okay, so with all that aside, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into some drawing. Feel free to join me, of course, but yeah, let's layer out. Now, I wanted to pick a subject today that is kind of, I don't know, like near and dear to my heart for some reason. The character of Baron Munchausen, and yes, they did a movie. Oh man, and his name escapes me right now. The actor who plays this really iconic character, but Terry Gilliam did this movie. Does incredible work like Time Bandits and Brazil, but seeing this movie as a kid like really opened my imagination, and this character defies everything that is rationality and reality, and he kind of goes in strong like Don Quixote, but in a much more like fantastical way. So this actor has some really fantastic features that we're going to be focusing on, and there's a little image of myself up there, not fully for vanity purposes, but because I'm looking to kind of like find a pose that way, and I actually, for commission work and things like that, you guys can look for a lot of reference photos, but if you're not finding exactly what you want, I recommend taking some photos and like really figuring out the pose that you want. You can use angles, shadows, and expressions from your own photos. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify this a little bit. So I have a couple of those references on layer here. I'm going to change up the color. I always like to start with a toned background. I think that it's just starting with white, you're just jumping into this infinite like void. I don't know, in this particular case, a white void is almost like worse than a full field black void, but I'm going to go ahead and jump with a light gray so we can have a starting tone. And for my sketching layer, I like to just sketch in red. I like to do like kind of a dark red. My opacity is knocked down. This is just a regular 6B pencil. Now, when I'm exploring like some of this fantastic features, I'll just kind of sketch about, and it's really about these tiers here, so no matter whether I'm working at a 3/4 or a profile, it's really going to be about these wonderful tiers, and not like cry tears, but like shelving. So every one of these layers is going to be fun to work with. Now I like to really stay loose. I can do a couple of really small sketches first, just to kind of like get an idea even of what I want to do, and none of this is really super necessary for the finished drawing, but especially working digital and working studio wise, you have all of these layers to work with, so you might as well kind of explore these really great shapes and get a feel for the doodle like as you go. Because right now, like all I have to do is take that layer away, and we're all set. Or I can erase all this and visit it later. Especially since I realized that I didn't jump down to another layer. So I think I really do want to do this at about a 3/4. Of course. And I'm not even really going to bear down too much on the reference for right now, because he's got like all these great shapes. They become kind of iconic, and if you're exploring it in the areas of character design, it becomes more about these big shapes and just really trying to have like fun with it, you know? So before I'm burdening myself with like tiny things like cheeks and stuff like that, I want to find these big tooly shapes. And also, like, I want to be thinking about, like, what do I feel about this character? Now, unfortunately, with these particular reference photos, he's not really smiley in it, like, but in my head, this character is incredibly boisterous, and he takes on just about any challenge with this strange confidence and poise. In the movie, if you ever saw it, like he engages with full armies. He rides a cannonball through the sky. He essentially like has a parlay with the giant folk who live in a volcano. Like he's capable of anything, you know, and I really want to exude that confidence in these shapes, you know. So find out what's important about the character, and sometimes don't worry about the reference too much. That doesn't work for everybody, but it's kind of what I want to do. Now, as I mentioned before, I do have roommates, and we are just moving into this new house. Also, like many of you are experiencing with isolation, my roommates and I were all working from home. So this might be a pretty active environment, so you might be hearing things in the background and things like that. I might be shouting at my roommates for almost no reason, because that's kind of what we do around the house all the time. With that in mind, don't worry, it's not a home invasion. I'm not being robbed. So with this, I'm feeling pretty confident in my original character design. I mean, it's still really loose, but honestly, like whenever I'm doing this kind of stuff, I work pretty dang loose. I don't want all of my lines to be like perfectly dictated where I'm going, and I don't know if this is an unfortunate thing, but when it comes to this kind of work, my process within Procreate is, I guess, pretty fast. I hear that sometimes, but I'm not exactly sure how true that is, because I'm not 100% certain. I unfortunately I don't get to do a lot of commissions like this. But when I'm working with friends and just having fun, I hear them sometimes say like, "Oh, you're done already?" But usually maybe that just means I didn't process it enough. So I'm going to be looking for a little playlist right here. Unfortunately, because you guys are tuned in with me, you have to listen to my music. So, like always, I apologize for that. When I'm at the stand working with Manny's crew with Draw Some Faces, I always, before I put on my music, apologize profusely. And maybe I don't have to. So we have our sketch here. I'm just gonna knock down the opacity a little bit. Give it about a 50%, 60%, so I can still see the general image. And I'm just gonna go right on top. Nothing super fancy. I'm just gonna use black pen in my inking. This is one of the ones that comes with Procreate, but I just used the studio pen and find a width. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I don't even have like a super standard width to my brush. I really like to feel it out, like, and yeah, get those strokes and things. I'm one of those like stroke practice guys. Like I really do like pick up my marker and really like see what it can do. You know, I always think that like markers are gonna be like super different, and they're not. But sometimes, like with some of these artists, like if you're ever working with like Kiko or Kirby, like Kirby will like do a whole page of these awesome strokes and eyes, and when he tries to throw it in the trash, if you're working with him, you try to steal it so you can look at it later. All right. Hopefully you guys can't see all of my... I might have to mute my fellow board members so that we're not giving away trade secrets. Yeah. If you ever run into something you don't like, you can just erase it. Like, that's something that I miss in live work. That'd be nice. Yeah. And, you know, I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. I kind of want to work quickly for you guys. But yeah, these big shapes are what are really important. And that's like another thing, like even in digital, remember that your piece is often engaged at a point that's not super close up. You know, like sometimes we hammer on the details of like where the cleanliness of a line is, but honestly, like from the viewing angle, you won't run into it all the time, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and give them some zazzier eyebrows. How about that? Please don't fit me for that orange jumpsuit. Yeah, I'm sure that you guys heard me talking about kind of engaging in whole shapes in my follow-ups to my seminar, and I highly encourage that in some cases for drawing. But right now, it's kind of loose broken line thing. But I like a lot more like solid shapes. I like something to finish. A lot of squares, a lot of circles. Yeah, with my new program that I'm running right now, I can't actually see what you guys are seeing for some reason. So I don't know if you're seeing me zip and zoom around on my board. Oh, cool! You can. My roommate, my tech guy, Jason, he just brought it up on his computer behind me, so now I can actually tell what you guys are seeing, so I can kind of figure out what I'm doing with this whole live streaming thing. But actually, this is really fun. I think that I might engage in this a little bit more in the near future. After this one, I don't know if anyone will be interested in that, but I super encourage myself to do so. I've been wanting to for a long while. It's just, you know, things get tough, we get busy. I'm not one to venture out too much into fields that aren't super familiar with me. And this might come as, I mean, maybe not a shock, but I do have a certain degree of social anxiety, or maybe just anxiety in general. So engaging with technology and engaging in new communities is often pretty tough for me. I think that's kind of why I find my retreat in art, and also I think it's one of the things that helps me when I engage with customers in person is I have a tremendous amount of anxiety for what it takes to sit in front of somebody in general, but I have a lot of control where I'm at, you know, so I just want to entertain people. I want to make sure that they're having a good time.
Several folks are wanting to know what Procreate pen you're using.
This is the first gen of the Apple Pencil. For those of you guys who are asking what the physical pen is, on Procreate, it's just within the first. It's one of the built-in pens, so it is inking, and it's just the Studio pen. So I found that this particular pen, with just a little bit of tweaking, will have like a really decent taper. I do use a lot of different pressure in my stroke, so I don't do a lot of personal tweaking with a ton of my pens, but this particular one has just been really consistent for me. So that's what I'm using today, is just straight out of Procreate, inking Studio pen. Yeah, sorry, as I said, it's tough for me to engage in questions with the particular app that I'm using, but I'll try to keep up with you guys when I can.
I don't know why this stream isn't like popping up the new comments.
Yeah, I know. Well, I also don't know why it's frozen on the opening screen.
Yeah. I know, that's weird.
Yeah, but you know, we're all winging it in one way or another. Whatever that could imply, jeez. Yeah, here's also a thing, like, there's a lot of stuff within Procreate you just have to look up. So, like I said, I'm not super tech savvy, so I didn't know how to make a circle for a long time. I didn't know how to make a straight line. Like, you could take a line, hold it at the end, and it snaps straight. And I almost used this thing for a whole year before learning that. So I kind of, I took a tool that I didn't know like all the ins and outs of, and I kind of just taught myself specific ways to use it. For example, like one of the good things, one of the great things about having these layers is that if you want a continuous shape, if you want like a really good straight clean line, like this is a little, I kind of like, I missed the exact shot there, but if you want that solid design, you can definitely like go over the top of some of your other stuff and then erase to the edge, and you won't erase that, and then combine the layers and it'll snap in. I guess you'll see me do that in a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. If you guys can't tell, I am a little nervous, believe it or not. Maybe that's why I'm talking so much. But one of my favorite songs in the world just came in, and a lot of you beautiful people are watching me and supporting me and Iska right now, and hopefully just honestly just having a good time. Like, this is a really great time for us to explore things that we're not necessarily used to. So I really do appreciate you guys coming down. So often enough, I like to keep my line layers solid, so I will come in and do that. That's just gonna help with my fills later. I know there's like clipping masks and things to make that process a little bit easier, but I just, like I said, I don't engage fully in every feature, which I'm probably missing out, but I'm still learning too, guys. Well, this is the part I'm gonna jump to my reference. I think I'm kind of taking liberty with how fun I want this ear to be. And here's the deal too. I'm gonna look at it. I'm going to decide that I was definitely doing that. I'm also going to know that it doesn't necessarily make sense for this ear to fire out that way. I'm looking at my sketch. It's a little off anatomically, and I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna tell myself all of those things, and I'm gonna completely ignore everything I just told myself, and I'm gonna do it anyway, because it's fun to me. It's a more fun design. When I try it, I might completely change my mind. Let's see. Like, oh yeah. If I shoot it out this way. See, like, this is the part where, like, this would be something I would feel like I was missing out on had I bore down on my sketch a little too much. So that's why I like, for something that isn't like fully refined, that's contained within itself, even when I'm working on commissions, I like to leave this exploratory period in there. Ugh. Look at that. Yeah, let's just take that down. I like that fun experimenting part, that let's see what happens part. Like, I don't want to lose that from my live work and gain this like charm. And once again, like, a lot of people might not like me saying so, but straying from certain aspects of anatomy like helps me figure that out, you know. So here's one of those situations. So I've drawn this ear on a completely different layer, and my lines are shooting through at some points. So while it's still on this different layer, I can go in and just erase at those points, and just so I can get that really clean transition between those. I know I haven't been doing that as much as I could this whole time, but in this particular case it works. And then I'm just going to take that layer, I'm going to click on it, and I'm just going to merge it down because I want to keep this entire line layer clean to itself. Let me see here. See if I can just engage with you guys on my phone. And, you know, sorry for the pauses, guys, but we're all working organically right now, I suppose. So weird. Alright, I'm coming back. Couldn't find myself on here. How weird is that? Like, I'm opening up Facebook on my phone and I can't find myself streaming. But that's, honestly, that's just me. I know that I'm of the right generation to be really tech savvy, and I am just not. You can ask Zach and Kiko and some of the other people I travel with, like, to that extent. For some reason, it just stresses me out. I'm a very low tech guy. I also have other weird I don't know why I'm talking about this at all. I don't know. I just ordered something from Amazon for like the first time ever, just a handful of days ago. Believe it or not. How about we make these eyes like kind of like these little tweety things? Like here's an interesting thing about this character. Like I said, I don't know how many of you have seen it, but his age throughout the movie, the more adventure he engages in, the younger he becomes, because it's the younger he feels. It's so good. I don't know, like, I'm 35 years old, guys. Like, people tell me I look young all the time. I guess. I mean, I'm starting to look 35. Don't get me wrong. I'm starting to feel 35. But I really do. I relate to this character. The more adventure I seek. Oh, did I do that the wrong way? Yeah, I did. So, even as I'm working on this right now, I kind of have the option to make them about as old as I want or can. No, I'm 35. If I was 34, I'd feel pretty good about it right now. I'm getting a little heavy-handed. That often happens to me, like when I'm working for some reason. Okay, now I'm starting to just get into a couple of details here. Nothing too fancy. Like I said, like it's not super detailed. I want the big shapes to really be the thing that we engage in. I am seeing some tangents in my future because he has this really great ponytail and I want to draw it, but I gotta watch out for this curly Q mustache. Like I want to make like everything like curly and cute and fun. I liked the idea of it shooting straight across right here. I'm not sure exactly how well that engages. Let's get rid. You know what? Let's just get rid of this, and then we can start moving ourselves around. Hi, Ben. Hey. Yeah, how weird is that? Ooh. You guys are popping up on there, but I couldn't figure out how to find myself elsewhere. Wait, what layer am I on? That's what's going on. Maybe I'll go ahead and engage in the body. So, like you guys said, or I mean, just saw, I had my original sketch down here, kind of got it where I want to, and with this process, like I said, I worked pretty organically. So, I wanted to figure out the face. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. So now I can do the same sketch technique to figure out what body I'm gonna do. Like, a lot of you would have wanted to know where the body was gonna go before you started. You would be wiser than I am. But this is often how I engage. I'm gonna put this layer underneath. I'm gonna move this to a red, or sometimes if I'm doing a different sketch layer, I'll change the color just so I don't get it blurred in if I want to use my other sketch layer. But once again, let's engage in some big fun shapes. Make sure I got my pencil out. Ooh, I can up the opacity on that a little bit. So, like, I really want to feel the confidence. So, like, we could figure out our pose in just, you know, like, what's a torso if not like a rhombus, a triangular square? You know, it's about getting. This is another one of those character things that we always end up talking about. It's like feel versus all that other stuff. So yeah, I'm engaging in boxes right now. And for most of the stuff that I want for this, I'm probably not going to need my reference photo. Like, by George, that just might work. That's not what I want. Knock down that opacity. Now I am going to go to a completely different line layer. For one, it'll let me shoot my lines straight through the Baron's head, and I won't have to worry about messing up anything else. Like, working in small increments is absolutely okay. I'm just showing you guys what I normally do. So, weird thoughts. Skull right here, right? Skull. Eyeballs. Base of the neck. So most likely his neck would probably shoot out there, but I don't think it'll hurt to push it down a little bit. Somewhere around there. I want to continue this motion, so. Go to our reference photo to kind of a little bit of a collar, refluffle at the top. So I'm always thinking about layers as if I couldn't engage them easily with my super handy tools here. Because when you're drawing live, you still want to engage in the idea of layers. Like, it'll get you there, but like understanding where you want your overlap so that you can more efficiently get to where you're going is important in our live work. So what I mean by that right now is that I know that he's going to have this like cool ruffly stuff coming off of his chest, but I want to engage with the under layer of that first. So it's going to be coming from this apparatus, and it's essentially going to be shooting out and then into this. So it tucks in right there, and it just makes my world easier, because then I don't have to engage in all of the lines separately. Somebody loves the monarch. You know, some of these layers don't even make sense, but we get that overlap. Well, let's make these more fun. Yeah, that's always more fun. Oop, we got chaos at the desk. We got paper falling. That's because sometimes I get too vigorous. That sounded way worse than I wanted it to. I'm live. See, we all kind of have an idea. Okay, now here's a part where switching up to another layer and doing our little erasey tool will probably be better, because Once again, I I focus on stuff like this like too much. You don't have to. I promise. That corner is fine. This corner's fine. This line is fine. I want. Sometimes you just want it really tight, you know. We wanna feel clean in our line engagement. Alright, so I have this nonsense layer. I'll just go ahead and merge it down. Boop. Oh, details. Gross. I don't want you guys to have to engage in these detail parts. This is like my honestly, my very least favorite part of a drawing sometimes. It really, really depends. I do a lot of like, I'm doing this weird tarot series where everyone has these incredibly detailed checkered robes and things like that. And for some reason I really like doing it then. But doing it for a character and stuff always bugs me. Like, I don't want to get in there and do every one of these things. Especially when I don't even know if that's what it looks like. Yeah, but it does. Whatever. Oops, I accidentally made it look okay. Ugh. And sometimes you'll make a shape and you'll go, you know what, I can do better than that. So as much as I'm encouraging you to be accepting of your shapes. Now let me see if I can look back here. Oh no! Am I down? Details, details, details. All right, good deal. Yeah, like I said, the program that I'm using. Okay. Hey, thanks, Sam. See, I can see it popping up on my screen. I can't engage with it on Facebook itself for some reason. It's really strange. Thank you, Robin. I have such supportive friends. You guys are so cool. Thank you, Iska. What in the world? Let's get simple over here. I know I don't have like a whole time limit or anything like that, but you know, I want to engage in something halfway decent for you guys. I don't completely phone it in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. do our little amateur hour layer trick again. Okay. I really should have muted everyone. Well, if I muted everything, then I wouldn't be able to see you guys. So. Okay. So, I'm pretty happy with where that layer is right now. Like, I absolutely could keep it separate. In fact, like something that I often do is I'll jump over to my layers over here, and I'm just gonna flat out duplicate it, maybe even a couple of times, for two reasons. With my coloring technique, I like to save a layer over the top, and I like to have another backup in case the scene gets nasty. Now, I like to have another backup in case I want to change something later. So, yeah, let's merge that down. But I will absolutely just duplicate both of these line layers and then work with another one as my color layer later. So, now that I have this, I'm gonna take my head layer and my body layer, and I'm gonna go ahead and merge that down. So now I have a fully workable layer. Lovecraft and Brooklyn. We need more layers. Okay, so I also combined this in case I needed the option to slide this baby around. You know, so now I can take him anywhere on the map. If I want to make him a part of the scene, I can shrink him down. It's not going to kill the quality of the lines all that much. He can engage in a full environment. I can do a full body character, if you will, much easier. But for this particular case, I really like where he is. I like the way he's engaging with his environment. I am going to tweak it a little bit. Now you don't want to expand your lines too much. So I really do. I usually keep my my transform on or my select on uniform, so that it stays to the true shape that I had it. But I also, if you want to distort or warp it a little bit, honestly, it's just a tool. I'm not that against this. Like this stretch and this pull here, it's possible that I could find a place to that I feel like it's a more dynamic pose, that I'm making him feel like more regal. But you can't distort too much or you're going to lose your original line quality. So if I highly encourage you doing this with your sketches, and then running your lines over the top that way. I'm gonna go right back to my original form, though. I'm now looking at the other ones. Maybe it was a little bit more dynamic, but but I do. I want to kind of just stay true to my sketch, and I think this is gonna work. But like I said, you can using this distort tool, you can do some stretching and fine tuning to how your character presents themselves. Let's see here. These are just like, you know, quick little ways to do things. The weird Ben Bloss way. I really like, don't ask me why. Everyone goes, why? I really like arms coming or going off screen and then coming up in a way that they probably shouldn't. It's I do it in my live work. I like it. It's goofy. It's cartoony, I guess. I don't know. Like I always like the stretch, and I also really can't stress enough. Like if design is something that you really like to explore, losing the distinction between a character and a cartoon, like, will give you a lot of room to explore. It's just another way of engaging in character, and a lot of us, like, we're like, well, you know, I really have a more realistic style, and that's totally understandable. Like I did too, or I like to tell myself I did. I really wanted to. Like, who doesn't want to nail like anatomy, like Tom Richmond or Joe Bloom, you know, like to the ways that they engaged with anatomy. But in this field, I ended up finding a lot more freedom engaging in cartooning. And that, you know, it's different folks, different strokes. You know, you guys know how it goes. Okay, we're still playing here. That's not his hand. I mean, now I truly want it to be. Oh God. But it's not. As character artists, you probably have some stock cartoon hands. I do too. Oh man, I've never been more nervous than drawing a strange cartoon hand for a bunch of really awesome artists. I'm like, I just almost quit just now, guys. I was like, all right, never mind on this whole thing I was doing, because I want to draw a hand in front of you guys. Bye. Oh yeah. That's the close enough stuff right there. Oh God. Man, that was... I highly encourage you guys to do this. Like, just go on some sort of live stream and draw hands for other artists, and you're gonna feel the pressure. Oh my God, that's so silly. Oh wow, I can see myself now. Yay. Okay. Oh, if I put it there, I'm going to lose my favorite part of the beard. We run into this a lot, so... Actually, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it tiny. Tiny flower. So, like, so much of drawing is problem solving, and I absolutely love that aspect of it. You know, we're all uh, uh, you guys have probably noticed that I this whole time I haven't changed the width of my pen. And in this particular case, like I'm drawing this rose, and it might be more advantageous or convenient for me to do so, so that I can make these strokes that I'm struggling with right now smaller. But I'm just, for speed's sake, I don't want to go in to my width and memorize the number. I want to be comfortable with the one tool, and this is a program that gives you a lot of tools to work with, and I really encourage that depending on the speed that you're doing. But getting consistent with one pen might just really help you get some stuff done, you know. Oops. With that in mind, I can always make my eraser smaller. Looking sharp, the Baron. Doing okay. Nope. I don't need to duplicate this rose. Still thank you guys so much for letting me do this for you guys. I wasn't certain how everything was gonna go, but I feel all right. I think we're doing it. Really, like, you guys are the ones doing all the work, actually. Having to listen to me. Ugh. And yeah, self-deprecating humor. There we go. Yeah. Feels pretty good. So, this is here's a little example that I talked about in my exaggeration slash omission workshop. Is sometimes a shape will create the desired effect that you want. I didn't draw a mouth per se, and in fact it would, kind of engage in this area of his mustache, but his mustache creates that shape for us. And yeah, I could do, like maybe an under lip kind of thing, but in the interest of it not becoming confusing, because sometimes someone will look at this and go, oh, that's the full smile right there. Look at that little happy guy. I really like my design to be a little bit tighter, and I think that we get the impression that he's breathing this thing in, that he's smelling, that he's giving us like that slight nostalgic smile. He's a very nostalgic character. Also, tremendous ladies man, no matter how old he is. So this is one of those points where sometimes omitting a feature can make the overall design or the character themselves feel better. So I encourage you to do that in your characters when you're drawing live. I encourage you to sometimes not draw somebody's eyes. Like, or if a nose is not that important, which sounds weird, but sometimes it comes up, give it a shot. You know what I forgot, guys? This. Yeah, that's okay. I guess I was really nervous about that. About that ponytail. Either that or I just forgot. Racing at the layers. Okay. So, now we have this whole character to engage with. And I'm just going to show you guys my super simple... I can't stress this enough. Super simple coloring technique. I don't like to stress about too much. So like I said, I like to take a layer, duplicate it. I'll duplicate it a couple of times. I could leave this one up, but I really don't need it. I'm going to drop in below the top layer. So it's exactly the same thing that I'm looking at, but, and like I said, I know that I can use clip masks and things like this, but this duplicate feature, before I figured out all that stuff, just truly works for me. So I'm gonna engage in, oh no, they updated it. They got rid of all my colors. What's going on? So, gosh, I really hate using full-on flesh stuff, but dude, I'm just gonna drop in at some areas. A lot of the same colors are gonna be used, and then I'll show you what I do for all my shading and everything. You're gonna look at it and go like, wow, that's kind of silly, but it works. So in this particular case, I have a line layer, so I can just draw right over the top of that. It's going to erase it on the layer that I'm on, but it doesn't matter. We have a layer right on top. I like to engage a really poppy, like, oh my god, like almost too bright of colors, just nonsensically, like sometimes neon even, you know. I still haven't decided what age I want the Baron to be, because this could be old Baron, this could be young Baron. So I'm going to go ahead and start with one of his younger hair tones. We are going to give him some foxiness in a little bit, but we're going to start here. Yeah, like all of this is going to be the same dang color. So this is like what some people would refer to as their flats. Better artists will have better technical terms, I'm sure. Gonna look for really poppy red. Like, might as well go as far on the red spectrum as you possibly can. Oops. Quick fix. You'll run into stuff like this. There we go. We're artists, we troubleshoot. No. And these little corners. Dang. I'm really heavy-handed today. That's all right. And working in solid colors, you can usually count on your fill going through, so it doesn't pop out the other end. Solid shapes to the finish. Just getting a general idea. We can fix, if we feel like it's not what we want later, we can fix it. Let's do blue. For almost no reason other than really engaging in our primary colors. Getting a feeling this yellow is too yellow. That's okay, because we're gonna shade it all in. Whoopsie. Thank you for hanging in, guys. Thank you for engaging with me. This part is, it's not exciting. Like, ooh, what color is gonna drop in next? Oh, just more of that silly solid color. Let's let this rose color jump over here. And I'm gonna scroll down and see if I can find any questions or anything like that. Is he rolling a booger is actually a really good question. Hey, Steve. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Let's see here. You're only 22 when I first met you. Actually, Al, I think I was about 22 when you met me. I think that was my first convention in Reno. That was back when it was still the NCN. And I believe our current president at the time was Steve Hearn. A wonderful resource, loves the community, loves character. He's a great guy. But yeah, I think you drew me like Al. I think you drew me 2 or 3 times during that convention, which was really cool. And I truly felt like a muse. I actually wasn't a full member. I was a guest that year. I went to just see what it was all about, and I got to engage in everyone's like walls, like what they were drawing, and it blew my mind. And honestly, at that year, I was one of the only guests, and I did so many drawings that one of my friends talked to Steve, and they ended up letting me hang my stuff on a wall anyway. That was just a really neat time. I don't know. Being able to hang my artwork next to the people that were showing their work blew my mind as a young artist. I honestly really wasn't that good. I've been doing characters in theme parks for the last for maybe a couple of years, and my boss Mike Worley and and Len Hernandez, and I believe Kayla Gales had already engaged in a con, and they told me like it's just an easy way to step up your game like immediately. Like you go to a convention, you see what everyone's doing, and it is intimidating, but as soon as you like start to experiment and put your pen to paper, it blew me away. Like I felt like just being in the room itself made me a better artist. That being said, let's see here. I don't remember what I said about the flesh, Allison. I'm sorry if it was vulgar. Somebody asked me about why so many layers when they dropped in layer. So I had some presentation material on there. I was just like showing people what I've been up to and whatnot with some pictures and things. So that's really the main reason for the layers. I don't use that many layers. With that being said, I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to engage with just one of these. So this is my super easy way of shading my characters or my digital work. This is going to see, I don't know, maybe this is rudimentary to some, but this is how I like to engage with it. And all I'm going to do, okay, for the red, I'm still on my regular old studio pen. I'm going to grab the red. I'm going to come up into my traditional square slider here. And I'm just going to knock the darkness down by a fifth. Like I could go a little bit more dynamic, maybe squeeze it almost down to a third, like ooh. But now I have a true darker representation of this color. I'm just going to shoot it down. Whoopsie. Maybe I won't do that. Oh yeah, wait. Boop, boop, boop. Always forget a little step. I have this set on automatic, and I'm just going to select all my red. Like I said, once again, these are things that I've only recently kind of learned, but I've found things that work for me. So now that I have this color selected, and go back to my brush, now everything that I engage with, whoopsie, is only going to be the red. So I can start right here, zip right through, quick fill, and we've already started shading. Just following shapes. Oh, that could have been done better there. Following shapes. And then You see, it's almost like I'm cheating. When I don't know if other people like do it this way, but I feel like I'm cheating. And I'm really happy that I found this cheating process. When I'm doing like more simple characters that have less details, oh man, I just fly through this stuff. But you see how like we're already getting a pretty shapely, and I haven't engaged in any other textures. I haven't done anything too dynamic. Honestly, there's a lot of digital artists that have like really incredible, oh man, even some, like a lot of these young guys and girls, they just like really blow me away with everything they understand with color theory. And once again, I'm emphasizing a quick, simple technique that I've taught myself to take care of my non-existent workload. So, and then I can even kind of add some wrinkly shapes, stuff like that. Where's this light source? Nobody knows. So, like, as easy as that, as easy as that, as easy as that, I've essentially done with all of my red. You're just gonna see me do that process over and over with different colors. Now we're doing mustachy beard stuff. Grab that. And as I'm working these shadows and stuff, I want it to be relatively the same degree. Remember how much I put them down? Push it down that exact amount. And just not think about it too much. Just hit these layers. You can also use this for texture purposes. So we're not on our flat layer anymore, necessarily. So sometimes I just add a little doop-a-doo-doo. You know, hair is tricky. And if anyone knows how to draw hair, just let me know. I'll do what you do. I draw big shapes that eventually sometimes kind of look like hair. Hi. Do 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 do. Ooh, do I want that shadow to be on top or underneath? Maybe both. But underneath the nose. So yeah, I'm not super focused on light sources. I want some things to be fairly consistent, of course. If you want to see some other people do things very similar but slightly better than me, I'd recommend AJ Jensen and Kiko Yamada, and of course Kirby. Salah, some amazing stuff. We have a whole community of infinite inspiration. See, look at all this. Just make it look easy. Or just let it be easy, I think, is my motto. See? Just knock it back down. Actually, okay, this is one of the exceptions to the color tones of this. Like, so when I'm working with flesh, I like to push it a little bit warmer as well, like just a little bit redder than it was. So up the saturation, up the redness. But that's getting close to his tone there. So I might make an exception. Oh, wait, that's what's going on. Okay, red. It's a little bit rosier. Okay. What year did you draw a fetal tray? Oh, what year was that? It had to be a Tradewinds convention. This is Derek Brennan talking. I believe he's going to be doing online seminar for us as well. There's no way you're unaware of Derek Brennan's work, but incredible painter. I'm really looking forward to see what he's up to. But I think I drew Trey as a space baby. One of the Tradewind years. Yeah. Sometimes you can just trace the line and get just like a little extra pop. A little extra. It's one of those horrible art where it's, ugh, I don't know, I like it to pop. But it communicates well, so I say it. When I went to art school, they told us to stop saying it. I said, don't tell people that it pops. But that's how much effect art school has had on me. I went to school for art. I learned some amazing fundamentals, forgot a lot of it, and then I feel like I learned so much more from our community of artists. Like, one of the things I can't emphasize more is the act of doing. Art, for people who want to get good at art, it's for doers. Like, you just have to have this compulsion to draw. Like, you have to draw when it hurts. You got to draw when it's hard to do, and it will almost, like, often it'll be hard to do. A lot of times it'll be fun, but please, like, you can't just stop drawing and then hope you can draw. Like, and unfortunately, like, we, especially like when we're drawing live or almost any time that we meet someone who's fascinated with an artist, they want to think that they've tried as much as you. It's incredible. They're like, yeah, I know that people tell me to practice, but I really did. Or I have, or I am. And it's like, it's kind of insincere to, like, tell yourself that you've practiced as much as someone who's getting kind of good at it, like, almost any of us on this thing didn't even know when we actually got good or if we are good, because you always find a different good, a different degree, a different, like, level or tier. I remember that feeling, and coming from my theme park and being like, I'm okay. Like, I truly want to draw like artists like BJ Hahn and Javier Gonzalez, and that's like the furthest and, like, aspiration. I think I've figured out something for myself. And then you meet artists like Nate Kapnicki, and you're like, wow, what am I? Like, at the time, like Nick Mitchell and Sean Gardner, I was like, what are the levels? Like, what are the tiers? And I love that about this art. Like, I love the feeling of, like, I'm getting good, and then you find a whole nother way to get good. Or you're on that journey to do so. Especially for Flesh, I also like to sometimes do like a light layer as well. So same principle, I usually just push the light up. If need be, maybe take the saturation down. So that it's still within that kind of skin tone, And I'm just gonna trace over the top here. I haven't changed any of the opacity in this. There are some effects that I will do that. Don't always. I don't always. Usually I just do it for like a shiny eyeball or some nonsense. Or sometimes I'll take an airbrush and kind of spritz a little pinkier-ness on it, you know. I tried! I don't know. Artists, we're a different breed. But only because we make ourselves that way. I don't know. We have a lot of shared experiences in this group, and I really try to keep griping down, but it's just one of my pet peeves, you know. Just like, I want people to try as hard as I cry. That's gonna be the new Ben Bloss t-shirt. Try as hard as you cry. An artist's memoir. Let's like I said, we can pull out an airbrush, take our opacity way down, and experiment a little bit. Like, no reason not to. We have this layer selected. This is probably going to be huge, like, but hey, look at that. See, like, I kind of like it. Barely know what I'm doing. More red. Super red. Do the same over here. Often you'll find redness start to build up in certain spots. The nose and the ears. You'll have blood vessels really close. Sometimes the eyelids are a little bit pinker. Oh, and this character actually has like literal rosy cheeks too. So this actually worked out really well. At first I did it on accident, and now I'm like, it wasn't an accident at all. Let's go back over that. Studio pen. Get that white back on top. Yeah. Though I kind of liked that. Yeah, no, I like it. Okay. Now, we don't have to overdo any of this stuff. I almost completely forgot his neck exists, but I do that. When I was a young caricature artist, I would often draw a whole person and then reveal the drawing, and I think they like it. Oh, he's kind of got like an old neck too. Like, you know, he's medium old in this. And I almost, like, I don't know, I always forget the eyebrows. Like, what's going on in my head? I'd forget the eyebrows so often. And sometimes I still do that. So, who knows? Been doing it 15 years. Still forget eyebrows. I didn't. I know it was kind of weird that I left this beard all fleshy. Ugh. word fleshy. But sometimes I like this clean transition technique. I believe I've seen Nolan Harris do things similar to this, where the initial line work will kind of break from, use the color layer instead, whatever I'm talking about. And then I can do that again. And I can pretend that I know things about hair effects. There you go. All right. Any of my things, try as hard as I cry. Not really trademarked. Feel free to use as freely and often as you want. Just a couple more details here, guys. We're starting to finish up. I'm not honestly. I kind of got lost in the process. I don't even really know how long I've been doing this. This is fun. Boop. Oh, been on for an hour and 30 minutes. And some of you guys are actually still watching me? Holy cow. Thank you guys. That's really neat. I love this community. Just a handful of more details. We're going to be, I think we got yellow, white, and green, and that's it. Now, so close. I might not do anything with this blue shirt. Boop. Do the darks first. Same process. Knock it down a little bit. Get this gross pale green, but that's not enough. See some of these little guys here. Push the shadow down a bit if you want. Just kind of gives it the effect that they poke out in various degrees. But yeah, don't overthink it too much. Well, we can tool around forever, like when it comes to details and stuff. Sometimes that's fun. And sometimes you find yourself getting carried away. You're like, how many of these little dashes have I done? And how much does it actually affect the overall piece? And I say that and I go right back to doing it. You will fall in a hole. You won't be able to stop. I'm just gonna slide this over here. No, we need a much whiter there. There we go. Let's go straight white there. Somebody help me, I'm tooling. Yeah, you see these little imperfections? It's alright. Oh, and I forgot about this side completely. Ooh. All of this should just be darker. like that. See what happens when you get lost in details? We don't need any of you. Alright. Details. Okie dokie. Oh no. One more. Green. You guys know it. Yeah, and sometimes I save the possibility of implied texture for the color, you know. You guys are artsy folks. You get it. I don't want to get this too red. Selection tool. It's already white, so I'll just knock it down to a less than medium gray. Ugh, that doesn't look good at all. It's okay to admit this sometimes, guys. Sometimes you need to be a little bit more delicate. Right? Yeah, something like that's better. Maybe overall my least favorite part so far, but... Oh, that's not that bad. I think someone would see it and go like, oh, I just want to do some design elements, some curlicues. That's fun. And, yeah. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to have some fun. And I'm not going to stress too much on backgrounds. There's all kinds of fun textures and things you can do. Let's take a look. Another layer. And gradients and things like that. Let's just go back to our original background layer. And this is one of my favorite things about having a set background layer, is that you can truly like tool around with what feels good and slide it all around. I always want my blues to be like a little green, just a tiny bit. But yeah, I'm just trying not to overcomplicate what I think my quote-unquote vision is. Yeah, I'm on that layer now. So I might just do something like take a... Oh, what am I... like as easy as taking a soft airbrush tool and... you know, just feeling it out. Make it bigger. I like I can hear myself just clacking away. Yeah, like I said, sometimes you can tool around and do something really fun. There's already a lot of pretty neat effects with these tools that come with Procreate. So, like a lot, this kind of nonsense. You can just you can texture your backgrounds, whatever you want. I used to have a rose petal one, which would be good for the situation, but I'm pretty happy with where it is. I just want to keep it relatively simple. Probably just take that, duplicate it in case I want to change it later. Drag it down, merge it. And then I like to just sign right on top. That's not a signature at all. That guy who told us he could draw, or couldn't draw, came back. Almost wrote 2019. Just hopeful thinking. And yeah, there we go, guys. That's a finished Baron Munchausen. I truly appreciate your time. I really want to thank Iska for having me do this. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys just had some fun too. Maybe you did some drawing along. I truly hope. Yeah, anything that you guys can do to help your community, and honestly, that to me that really just means just reach out and make sure that the people that you care about are okay. This is going to be a time that communication is going to be the most important tool that we have. Just reach out, because a lot of people are nervous, a lot of people are scared. Maybe you're doing okay, maybe we're doing okay, but that's the main thing, is just let's take this opportunity to better ourselves with art, and let's love our neighbors and our friends. And we have a huge community here, guys. You guys are all killing it. I'm glad that you came on and you're checking it out. But seriously, thank you so much. Iska's doing everything it can to make these times just a little bit more bearable. We can, we're gonna make it. We're gonna have some fun. Once again, if you guys want to check out my work, I'm on Instagram at Bloss 13. And of course, my website, I am accepting commissions at benbloss.art. So, one more goodbye. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And I'm not very good at goodbyes. But I hope you had fun. Maybe you learned a little something. And we have Joe Bloom gonna do some art and chat along with us later in the day. So I really encourage you guys to tune into that. I know that I'm going to. Seriously, I love you guys so much, and go get something to eat. Have some have some fun tonight. All right, bye guys. Mm-hmm.